My name is David Clarke. On the 16th of January 1970, I had a bad experience on LSD, during which time I called out to God for help, asking Jesus, please help me. I had no real knowledge of who Jesus was or the Bible. My life was turned around that night, and I turned my back on my criminal past. I began to read the Bible and Christian literature to educate myself, went on to higher education, became a lecturer and taught electronics for over 20 years in colleges of further and higher education, and became a strict Baptist minister. I had a brother who was 2 years older than me, who was unaffected by my conversion to Christianity, who was arrested and sentenced to prison in the Philippines for 16 years in 1993. After 5 years of his sentence, he wrote to me stating he was losing weight, his teeth, and felt suicidal. He feared death, as he knew he would be going to hell for his past life. He was at rock bottom. 1 year later, I could tell from his letter he was very much better, and he was being helped by other prison inmates who too had become Christians whilst in prison. He was convinced that Jesus was the Christ, the Son of the living God, through reading C.S. Lewis's book Mere Christianity, and so I wrote to him, instructing him to be baptised as a Christian. New Bilibid Prison is a national penitentiary in the Philippines, housing over 25,000 inmates in 3 compounds, the maximum, medium and minimum compounds, and penal farms. My brother was in the maximum compound, housing over 13,500 inmates, including death row, where 1,200 men were due to be executed by lethal injection. My brother was helped by inmates connected with the New Bilibid Prison Theological Institute, where many inmates had turned their lives around through the help of Pastor Lucas P. Dangatton, William Pollock and Andy Dolan, who were all inmates within the prison. On news of my brother's conversion, I felt compelled to write our story in my book, Converted on LSD Trip, and Gordon Smith and I went on a mission of help to the Philippines in 2001 to help the work going on in New Bilibid Prison. On that mission, I invited 100 men who were inmates to put their testimonies in writing, and during the next year 66 testimonies were submitted and we published them in our book Trojan Warriors. One of these men was William Pollock, who, upon his release in August 2002, we commissioned him to return home to his own city to preach the gospel to his own family and friends, and Baguio City and Benguet district jails. His story is told in his book called From Darkness into His Marvellous Light. This was over 20 years ago, and since then William Pollock has founded 12 churches and a national network of former inmates called Prisoners of Christ Organisation of the Philippines. These are scattered throughout the Philippines, and in August 2023 we presented 60 copies of Louis Berkhof's Systematic Theology to the members of the Prisoners of Christ Organisation and ministers of Christ-centred churches. This is a true story of how the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ changes men's lives for the better. I am now 74 years old, and my brother died in prison in the year 2005, before our vision of helping many was realised. However, Bishop William Pollock and Lucas Dangatton continue their work teaching the gospel of grace to several jails in the Philippines.